Hi, this is Rachel, and I'll be using an informed consent form from West Texas Counseling and Guidance. I just want to start this video off with a definition I read in a journal article by Usher in 2002. And it says, the doctrine of informed consent, essentially a legal doctrine developed partially out of recognition of a patient's right to self-determination and partially out of the doctor's duty to give the patient sufficient information to make an informed choice, is usually considered to be the process whereby explicit communication of information is provided relevant to the decision of whether or not to have a particular treatment. I thought this was a very apt and appropriate definition to informed consent. And I really liked the line, patient's right to self-determination. That really just kind of hit a chord because I felt that if a client comes to a counselor, voluntarily comes to a counselor seeking counseling services, it's very obvious that they want to make a change within their lives or to find a solution for a problem that they're going through. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. But I'm just going to go straight into the comparing and contrasting of the West Texas example, the ASA Code of Ethics, and Delaware Board State Rules and Regulations. And I'm only going to compare a couple, otherwise we'll be way over the time limit. But here we go. The first one that I will bring up that was mentioned in all three actually was confidentiality. And that basically just says that the counselor has an obligation to protect client information with exemptions, which would be if an example that they gave would be if a counselor suspected that there was child abuse involved or the abuse of the elderly or disabled, then they would be obligated to notify the police. Something that was only mentioned in the West Texas example and the ASA Code of Ethics was payment for services. And that just explains how much the client would be charged per service or per hour, and any fees that they would have, how they can pay through insurance. It was not mentioned in Delaware Board State Rules and Regulations. Something that was only mentioned in the ASA Code of Ethics was mandated clients. It was not mentioned in the West Texas example or Delaware Board State Rules and Regulations. And you can find that in Section AE2 of the ASA Code of Ethics. I find that this consent form was very easy to understand. I was kind of really surprised about how easily I was able to read it, actually. But there was one thing that I realized that would not be in an informed consent form, that would only be mentioned within the ACA Code of Ethics, which was multiculturalism. And that is something I think that the counselor would have to bring up as the counseling sessions go on. But my question is whether or not multiculturalism is something that can be mentioned and written in a informed consent form, and if so, how the counselor would go about bringing that into the informed consent form. Yeah, so I just thank you for watching and have a great day.